Alright, so here's a quick little real-time tour of Gage, Kentucky, build 0.9.5 alpha. So we start off here on Highway 286 at Gage Grain. It's a fictional depiction of a cattle grain. There's actually a co-op and nutrient here as well. You've got the grain elevator to the right. Back here you've got the co-op where you can buy some fertilizer and lime and liquid fertilizer. There's also a big diesel tank there. Over there you've got two test plots. One comes with corn, the other comes with soybeans out of the gate. This is also the buy station, so if you buy seed or if you buy equipment, it'll spawn here. You can buy these fields as well pretty cheap. They're only an acre or two. You start owning these semis and then these sprayers and a fertilizer spreader back there. The depiction of a nutrient or a co-op, so you can freely start with those and spread or spray. The rest you have to buy. We'll turn right here on Highway 286 heading east. This is a real depiction of what the actual road looks like for the most part. And then we're about to come into the small community of Gage, which is obviously where the map got its name. There's a big field to the left here that spawns with soybeans in it. You can buy that. And by default, you start in, I think it's August, so you've got a couple of months that you can go through to get to harvest time. A couple big real-life ponds. You can buy the shed and the shop that's over to the right. These houses you can't buy. And this is the heart of the Gage community. There's a fictional depiction of Gage Grill and Grocery. It's a small gas station that's run down like this. There's a big farm coming up here that's at the intersection of Highway 286, which is what we're on now, and Ross Crossing Road, which is up here. There's a fenced pasture, there's multiple hay fields in the back, and then there's a large shop and an equipment shed that you can buy. And all of these fields, this hay field that's to the right, is planted in a meadow variety that you can harvest and it will regrow, or you can take a plow or a disc and form your own field back there. Then it exits back here behind the shed on Ross Crossing Road. There's another hay field up here and then a soybean field. Again, you can buy these and create your own fields with it. So we're heading north on Ross Crossing Road right now, and then we'll get to the intersection of Highway 286 up here. This is a small road that connects to the end of those fields. And up here is the intersection of Highway 286. Take a right, we'll head east. The big drop off, which is another realistic depiction of what it is. There's not a great shoulder on any of these roads in real life. Various other fields and houses. Probably Probably not a great idea for AI school bus to be passing in a non-passing zone, but hey, it is what it is. Up here is the intersection of Highway 286 and Bethel Church Road. Technically, the structure in front of us is actually Bethel Church, large church, but in the game, it's a Gage grain mill, another sell point for wheat, and all these fields to the left. There's some interesting ways to traverse back there behind the fields and the woods. There's paths that you have to take to connecting fields. There's quite a few waterways that have rough terrain throughout, which is another realistic depiction of some of these fields out here. This one to the left is especially rough. Once you get back there, there's a few creek crossings that you have to go through as well. Again, there's multiple hay fields that are planted in meadow varieties, so you can immediately harvest them, or you can buy them and create your own tillable land to plant row crops in. And this is the realistic depiction of Bannon Lane and Bethel Church Road, which is what we were just on. So we'll turn on to Bannon Lane here. There's another large pasture with a barn that you can buy cattle from once you own the land. Again, this is hay ready as well. There's a trail that goes back to a couple other fields back there. And there's a large farm here that you can buy, and a large pond as well. That's pretty cool. That's real life. You'll find these trails throughout the map to get to different fields. There's quite a few creek crossings, trails that lead through the woods, even more dense woodland area than what we just went through, but they all connect to different fields. Some of them are hay fields, others are tillable that have corn or soybeans or wheat that's in them right now. Coming into a more populated area on Bannon Lane, there's quite a few horse pastures up here, cattle pasture. There's some pigs, some chickens, there's some beehives. There's quite a few different animal containment areas there that you can buy and then tend to. There's also a auto load hay storage facility back there, and a few houses here as well. This private driveway connects back onto Bannon Lane, and the road in front of us is Bondrit Lane, which goes back to quite a few farms. We'll take a look at it once we get off of the next road, Gage Road. There's another house with the shop behind it, another horse pasture there that you can buy. There's quite a few more houses on this road. There's also another big cow pasture up here with a barn and hay barn as well. The ingress to one of the fields is behind this house. There's quite a few fields that are interconnected over there on the right as well. You can see the clearing in the trees. There's a pond over there, and then there's another large hay field back there beyond this pasture. There's a few more trails. In fact, right up here is a trail that goes through the woods to get to some other hidden fields back here that are currently hay fields. We're coming up to the intersection of Gage Road. We'll turn right to head north. So this is Bannon Lane and the intersection of Gage Road. Large field in front of us. There's a large intersection to the left that's pretty prominent as well. We won't go down it right now, but this intersection right here is Gage Road, which is what we're on, and Davis Road. There's a small gravel road that goes down here, and there's quite a few other really large fields back in here that you can buy. We'll turn on to a connecting road that goes back to Bondret Lane or Bondret Road, and this is the Bondret Farm. There's quite a few fields here that are connected. Large storage shed here. And we'll connect onto this gravel road, take a right, and we'll be heading south, and then eventually we'll get to a small private silo grain bin system, and then we will connect on to the road that we were just on, which is Bannon Lane. And now we're back at the intersection of Bannon Lane, and we will just 4x speed to go through this since we just saw it a minute ago. This is one of the most prominent features of the map. This is the core intersection of Gage Road, which we're on, and in front of us is Mosstown Road, and then there's a Humphreys Creek in front of us, this large intersection here, and there's quite a few fields down to the left. We'll take a look at that on the return trip. But we're now on Mosstown Road heading west. Another large, fairly realistic depiction of a house and private drive there to the left that you can buy, surrounded by quite a few fields. There's another cow pasture up here to the left, and then there's a hay pasture, hay field to the right there. One of the largest farms that is on the map is up here on the right. Take a right here and go back behind this farm. There's all sorts of storage structures. There's also seed purchase areas, fuel over there, fertilizer, and then there's lime as well back here. There's a private grain bin as well. There's another pond, and then there's some pathways that lead back to another hayfield. If we keep going back this way, heading north, there's quite a few really large fields back here as well. That cow pasture is over there, and then behind that there's a large hay storage facility. This is a really large pasture area. We're on Mosstown Road now. We're heading west. Up here is the intersection of Mosstown and Stahl Road. We'll come back to Stahl Road. We'll keep heading west on Mosstown. This is another hay field that has a path through it that connects to 3 or 4 other fields back through here. There's a creek crossing and quite a few different pathways that lead through the woods. depending on what fields you own, this intersection here, if you were to take a right, connects on to the west side of a field that's on Stahl Road, a really large field that's planted in soybeans now. To the left, there's just another hay field. And we'll turn around and go back and connect back onto Mosstown, and then we'll hop on Stahl Road and head south. Now we'll take the intersection. We're on Mosstown heading east now. We'll take a right here and get on the Stahl Road heading south. There's a few houses. There's a farm on this road that has some structures as well, and quite a few really large fields. We're coming up to the intersection of Stahl Road, which we're on now, and Stahl Road. We're going to take a left and continue heading south on Stahl Road. We'll take a left here at this, again, really prominent feature that has a large mansion, huge lake, and quite a few fields attached to it with a large shop back there and then a shed. As of this update, these trees, other than the ones that are around the actual map boundary, are cuttable, so you can clear these out if you wanted to and create any terrain that you wanted, any larger fields. Again, these pathways, be on the lookout for them. They lead to quite a few other fields, ponds, through woodland areas. We've basically made a huge circle there, so we're going to hop back on Stahl Road, continue heading south, and up ahead is Highway 286. And there's some realistic waterways. There's a lot of erosion in real life. Some of that's depicted here as well. Lots of rolling terrain. We'll take a left up here into this field. This is one of the pathways that leads to a creek crossing, the low water crossing. We'll go down this way. There's some eroded terrain and then really light water crossing that we can go through to get to this next field. Now we're back in the center of the Gage community. We're going to take a left here onto the main road, which is Gage Road. We're heading north on Gage Road now. This is another one of the core farms, the starter farm that has quite a bit of structures and vehicles by default whenever you start, unless you start from scratch. This is field 85. It's a large harvested field back here, and large pond, and again some trails that lead back to other fields. Feel like we've said it a bunch, but here's some more trails that lead back. This is farm 63. This goes back to a really large pond back here. This field planted in soybeans. There's a lot of erosion, a lot of waterways here. take a look at the map, we can see all the fields here. This update also fixes the precision farming, so all the fields are precision farming enabled, so you can buy soil samples and view the pH and soil composition, and obviously the yield maps work as well. So that's a fix from the prior alpha release. We'll do a quick fly over here. This is the farm that we were at a minute ago on Gage Road, build 85. Obviously, you start with quite a few structures, some prominent land features with ponds. There's those waterways that I was talking about in that one field that has a lot of erosion to it. Pretty vast map. Lots and lots of fields, diversity of hay and corn and wheat and soybeans that are planted already when you start. We've got some different textures for both soybean and corn stubble as well. Here we're farming field 80, harvesting the soybeans that are ready now.